there's an important distinction here. So in the Q&A, Prashant mentioned that he didn't use reference when he was animating all of these cool elements in Puss in Boots, which, for anyone who doesn't know, Prashant is AM alumni. He animated a bunch of the action scenes in Puss in Boots. So when Kitty Softpaws is escaping the bakery and is fighting all the goons in there, a bunch of the Death versus Puss in Boots animations, beautiful animation. Now, he mentioned he doesn't use reference for that because honestly, you can't really use reference for a lot of those types of shots. There's a scene where Kitty Softpaws jumps, grabs someone by the mouth, swings around them, then bounces up into the air before coming back down. It's not really a physically possible action. Even the best gymnast, maybe they're not grabbing someone by the mouth, but grabbing a pole or something, it's just not gonna work. So this is a moment where, as animators, we kind of just get to create what we want and push it. Now, we do have to base it on physicality. So he may not have used reference in the typical sense, what we usually think of reference as taking something I shoot, I move through my reference, and then I copy the animation and kind of do the same thing or similar. So he probably wouldn't do that because that would be physically impossible, or you could hurt yourself very easily. But I would assume that most likely he looked at other references, and other references can be just posing. Okay, when someone's running, what's the kind of pose that you can get? And it might not have been for this shot, but over time in his career, he would have looked at these references and gone, okay, that's how you get a really good running pose. Look at other cartoons, do master studies. As he's going through, he's using not so much a reference, but kind of just the overall flow of the body to get the timing in there. That could be seen as a type of reference. You're not just going in and animating right away. You are exploring to get an idea of how to make this feel good. So yes, definitely, as you get more experience, you don't need reference. You don't need to shoot reference for every single little thing, definitely. But just especially for any of you starting out, it doesn't mean that reference is not useful. It just means that you're using reference in a different way, or you've got so much experience that you know how to animate. So for example, a simple example would be in class 1, when you're animating, you're going to be animating a personality walk, and you're probably going to be looking at reference to do a walk. And usually a vanilla walk even, you're going to look at reference. How does the walk move? Later on, you don't have to look at a reference for that. Even a bouncing ball. You don't really have to look at a reference for a bouncing ball anymore because you know how to animate a bouncing ball. You might look at certain things, but then you just animate it yourself. Now that's a very simple example, but it applies to any type of animation. The more you do it, the more experience you get just knowing how to move it. So yeah, it's definitely one of those things that as you progress, you don't need to stick to reference. You do not need to feel like, always have to shoot reference. I always have to do this. It's part of the workflow. But also don't be afraid to shoot reference at any time because it is super